Yo,
Hey.
Hello, hello.
you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm so sorry for yesterday, by the way, guys. I
Oh,
apologize.
no worries.
It's all right. I guess we forgive you.
I love the setup. Is this where are you guys right now? Where are you guys?
We're in our downstairs studio.
Okay, so you guys live. This is your studio that you guys have in your own house.
Yeah, so this is actually a part of the bedroom. We like cut it in. I was like, we need a bed to sleep. So I was like, let's put a bed there and then the rest like workspace. So
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So this is like where we actually do a lot of our like lives and hosting when we like auction off our vintage stuff.
Mhm.
And then our actual workspace is like just through the bedroom door, like so we can show that later, but that's where we have like our screen printing stuff, our painting setup, our sewing setup.
Amazing.
That's all in like the separate room over there. So this is the pretty area that we like make it fancy so
I like
people
I like
can
our
see some nice stuff.
wannabe like storefront.
I really like it. It's really cool. So you guys can introduce each other, like or yourselves, not each other, but yourselves.
This is Kate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so I'm Kate. I'll just say a little bit. I originally am from Minneapolis, and that's where we're living now. And yeah, we've been rocking together for 8 years now. So yeah, we met in college in Colorado, and then we lived in LA for a while, and that's where he's from. So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so I'm originally from LA. I'm Devin. Devin Pina. Everybody calls me like Pina or Pineapple.
Okay. Why? Is there a specific reason?
Well, I did have dreads during college, and I played sports.
Okay.
And then I put my dreads up one day for like it was squatting day, and then one of my buddies was like, "Bro, you look like a pineapple." And then after that day, another friend said it. Then the coaches started saying it, and then out of nowhere, like my teachers started like, "Hey, pineapple!" And I was like,
no, "What?"
I was like, "How'd you hear that?" Like that was like the team.
That's hilarious.
But then after that, like the school started calling me pineapple, and I was just like, pineapple's dope. And then I found out that it was my grandma's maiden name after she like passed, and in Spanish, so it was like Pina. So I was like, wow, it kind of makes sense. Like, I'll take it.
You like it? It's dope.
Yeah.
And
but
so,
I'm from LA. So we do a lot of traveling from LA to Minneapolis, just hosting and doing pop-ups in those two cities.
Yeah, we're actually heading to Chicago for the second time next month. So our goal is to be a traveling pop-up around the world, or around the world is the next step, but around the States is the first step.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of ambitions to like hit the road. We're working on a van setup so that we can truly travel from Minneapolis, especially during the winter, because it's
cold.
We just got like a snowstorm yesterday, and I got
like 10 inches.
Yeah.
And I just flew back from LA. Like it was 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And then
it's another life.
Yeah, it came into 10 inches of snow.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was great.
So I actually have so many questions, but I'm going to start with a few that just pop up to my mind. So first of all, how did you guys start to get into clothing? Was that from school? Was that something that you guys passionate about?
Yeah, so to be honest, I had this idea of Restore Society Club when I think it was when I graduated high school.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I graduated high school, and my parents, they supported me 100%. So we actually got a business license 2013.
Okay.
And then went to college after that. So it was on pause for like 4 years. And then 18, 19, we started hitting it like strong. And we were actually like a streetwear brand, like buying wholesale bulk from downtown.
Yeah.
And then putting our like brand on it. And then
so a little background, he's a graphic designer. So all of the graphics that are done by him. So I'm taking over. But so he was a graphic designer. So we started doing the Restore Society clothing, like you said, 2018, 2019. And we were doing all this like cool designs, but then we were going to be doing beach cleanups and like community work with like people that were on the street. We were out feeding and just helping clean up the beaches. And we're like, there's just this miss. Like there wasn't like a love for it like we wanted. Like I've always wanted a business, and he always wanted this clothing company. And he truly had this brand that we could just grow from. And when we like finally sat down, we were talking, and we're like, we thrift our closet, we're sustainable in our own way. And the
only thing not sustainable was our brand when we were buying wholesale.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot through our like community work that fast fashion is right behind oil and pollution. So I was just like, yeah, once we started doing the community work and learn a little bit about it, we were like, that's what we need to change, is change our clothing streetwear brand into an upcycling sustainable brand.
And also incorporate the street brand, because it's still like, it's just wild.
Yeah,
it's
so we're
fun.
still doing like graphics, graphic designs on top of these like vintage pre-loved clothes. But all of the stuff we've like found is like through thrifts, garage sales, you know, flea markets.
Yeah.
And they're basically on their way to like the last steps to like the trash, you know? So I was like, all right, we can take this, take that.
Yeah.
And, you know, make it a little bit more loving and
give it
like,
a facelift,
yeah,
is what we always tell our
facelift.
customers. Like, we gave you a facelift on your clothes, put it in a closet, give it a second chance at life. And we were just like, and that really started 2020. We like brainstormed a lot in 2018, 2019 when we were doing the first brand, and it just wasn't connecting. And so when we finally were like, we need to change, we need to be more sustainable, we need to care about our planet, we love our animals. We always joked about how we wanted to farm and just like have all these animals that we could rescue. But that's maybe later when we're retired.
Later.
That's where the duck comes in. Huh? That's
So yeah, it kind of like grew into this awesome fun, and like it's our like complete joy. Like, I'm at school teaching, I'm like, I can't wait to get home and start sewing. I can't wait to paint with him or get our silk screen or get whatever
even
done.
shopping is like super fun, because
it's like an adventure.
Yeah, now sourcing like artists that have like put stuff on garments before, like previous. It's like now we could take those artists like and then rework it, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Like,
I have a question in regards to like the name. Do you guys do that for like was the idea initially to do like, you know, when people are about to throw their clothes away, you said you guys make an uplift, but like, so you guys buy them and then sell them to other customers, or you guys take them from individuals and then give them back to them with like an uplift? Or
we've done a few custom works. Custom it's awesome. It's just, it's like hard because we're blooming right now. And so for us, we're trying to like bust out as many, like just different things that like we are truly passionate about. And like when we do customs, we're like, oh, we have to make sure it's perfect for them.
I just think it's like,
so that's a little bit
I don't want to mess up like their custom piece, where it's like the artists, where when we do our stuff, it's more of like creativity, like right on the spot. But when custom people come in, they're like, oh yeah, I want this like that to look like this. And I was like, I get it. I was like, but you can check out like our other garments that we've like freestyled, you know?
Like, this is what we kind of give you of an option. And I mean, his brain is insane when he gets painting and in his zone. Because I use it as a coloring book. I'm definitely more on the business side of it, like really helping do all of our events. And obviously I do the cut and sew. Well, he cuts, I sew. But we've learned, he taught me a lot about painting. So now like he doesn't have all this like heavy weight on his shoulder. So I'll like use it as a coloring book, put in the colors, and then he'll outline and make it just perfect. I mean, I think it's perfect, but that's just me saying.
That's sweet. How important are the side, like the community and the events in your brand? I feel like that's like really like pretty much like a big pillar.
Yeah, like right when
100%.
we flipped it to the upcycling sustainable side, we were like, all right, like now we need to like preach this stuff. Like now I'm happy to preach our brand. So yeah, like right when we switched it, I think a month later, we
had our first
hosted a pop-up, and then the next day we were in a pop-up event with like
that was in 2020, right before COVID hit.
Yeah, so February 2020. Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. We literally had our first two pop-ups, and the first one was awesome. It was a lot of family and friends and people that were just strolling to the bars on Valentine's Day. Actually, it was Valentine's Day, so we were like selling all these things to these couples that were sitting at the restaurant. Like it was just like a cool little like local restaurant bar that had this huge outside space. And that was awesome. And then we had connected with a nonprofit called Surfrider out in LA, who we did the beach cleanups with a lot pre-creating our clothing. And we talked to them about like our upcycling and our zero waste and sustainability. And they had a zero waste fair week after. The 23rd. Yeah. It was literally today, 2 years ago today. Because yet 22nd was, there was a lot that happened the day before. So I just remember that date. But we went to the zero waste fair with Surfrider, and there was people making homemade toothpaste. There was surfboards being remade. There was a composting
conditioner,
It was
spot
just
where you could like
this
refill
really
your
cool
yeah.
place. And it was like, wow, we found our market, and now we just wanted to like take off. COVID hit, we had to take a little break, but then we really started brainstorming, and that's when he started painting really.
Yeah, actually, story about it. Like, so we silk screened mainly on our t-shirts before that. And then I had like a shoulder injury.
Mhm.
And so I was like in a sling and I was like just painting,
He
you
literally
know, like
called, he literally called me, he was like, Kate, I think I'm ready to paint on clothing. And my answer was like, great, do it on a piece we don't love yet so we can see how it goes. I had faith, but I was like, okay. I was like, does paint feel good on clothing? You know, it was just like all these questions. And he didn't send me a photo. I was like, that's insane. It was,
yeah,
like,
from
go grab the first piece. It's in the
yeah.
closet. We have
Oh
our
yeah,
first
we showed
piece.
you on that
Yeah,
live.
yeah, fuck yeah, I remember.
But back to a little bit about the pop-ups. And since we moved out to Minnesota in May, is where I originally am from. And we fell into this vintage community that was so accepting out here.
Yeah, so this is the
oh,
first
yeah.
one.
Oh, OG Chuck. Fuck
With
yeah.
the screen
Yeah,
print.
so this was a screen print. And then there was like a fat stain right there. So I was like, white. And I was like, what else can I do? So
I love this piece.
yeah,
And
so
the flower.
these
Look at the
guys,
yellow flower. We haven't done a yellow flower.
I think
like,
this was the only yellow flower.
the only yellow flower.
Yeah, because then now we're like, this is like Chuck now.
Yeah,
Like it's badass now, bro.
Yeah, so like before and after.
it has grown. But yeah, so pop-ups, we met this incredible community in Minneapolis. They were super welcoming, like very, like arms wide open. They're like, come join, like come
Like
to our
there's this
pop-ups.
thing that people say like Minnesota nice, and that's what like the community was. Like right when I popped in here, I was like, well, coming from like LA, it's like I think like I'm a little bit more comfortable like speaking. And so when I came out here, I was like, oh, what's up? Like I'm Devin, like you can call me Pineapple. And then literally like everybody was, oh, that's Pineapple, that's Pineapple. So like
Good nickname to have.
it's a good nickname. So like yeah, like the first I would say week out here, I met like 5 businesses. And then from then on, like we hosted one pop-up out here and then joined another one. And then once we joined the other one, we just met the whole community, I felt like.
And then once we met them, it was just like I used like my event coordinating background from a couple years ago now in LA. And I just like started reaching out to different places. And I was like, hey, we're this market. This is who we are. Would you be willing to let us come have a pop-up? Like, they're like, dope, let's do it. And so we went solo. And then I got to know the people at the restaurants or bars or coffee shops, whatever we did. I'm like, so can we bring a few other vendors? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, sweet. And then we don't always want to spend a lot of money on vendor fees. And we wanted to respect our vendors. Like, we don't know if it's going to be a great day or if it's going to be a bad day, you know? So like, you come with us, we'll have a spot for free. Typically there were some times where like we had to charge a little bit, but it was like $25.
Like 15,
and I think
30
that's
max.
all we would ever charge. But yeah, it was just like, people were like, yeah, let's do it. And then we got to meet more and more, and people are like, do you care if we come? We're like, yeah, come on, the more the merrier. And just this community that we
actually like met a great people here, and like to the point where like they moved into like the good like friend zone. And we actually had like a rekindle moment of like our first conversation with like an old friend. And then she was like, yeah, I was so scared to like message you guys because you guys were hosting pop-ups, and like asked a couple questions.
And
like,
she's a little bit
okay?
younger.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 20. I'm not that much older, but it was really cute. It was cool.
It was funny. And then now where we're at, like with the community here, it's just like we got our like group that's like a part of the Clubhouse Market that we run. And then we have like our little gang that
just
goes around town.
Join us. We have a couple of like coming out to LA.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool. I have a question in regards to like clients that come on, like people that don't really know what you preach. Like, what is their first impression when you let them know what you guys do and how you guys?
To be honest, like I don't want to like toot our own.
I was just gonna say toot our own horn.
But we've done a lot of like vintage events, and vintage does have like a feel, like, you know, like maybe 3 kinds of feels. Like, all right, you can do the rock, you can do the cartoon, you could do different
Movies,
genres in vintage. But we just started like blasting our like designs all over them. And I come from like a advertising marketing background. So once we did pop-ups, I was like, Kate, like I helped like build a store before, so let's build our own little pop-up store.
Mhm.
And I think like what we do is like try to catch the eye of consumers, and then yeah, literally with just like putting it up,
We,
like
take
people
off-
just people just come, and like it kind of looks different from all the other vintage clothes. And then right when they like step maybe 2 feet close to our booth,
Mm.
either me or Caitlin, we've been in like retail sales before
Us
as well.
guys are the perfect. How you doing? I know
Yeah. So no joke, like literally, so one of our last really big events that was insane. It was beautiful. There was so many people, like there was like 8,000. It wasn't our event. It was in Minneapolis. It was Twin Cities Vintage Fest, and they had a total of like 8,000 people who showed up throughout the
Yeah.
whole day. And I was in the back of the booth, and Devin was in the front greeting, and he'd like, "Hey, welcome in. Like this is sustainability. This is what we do." And then he'd be like, "Kate, you got it from here." And then they'd come in, and I'd be like, "So this is this one. Like we got the upcycling here. We have painted up here, cut and sew over there, vintage up front." And they're like, "Cool, like we're like," and they were just like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we screen print these, we paint on them, and they're all gonna be washed and dried. Like
Yeah, it was,
we have it down." And there was a woman next to us in a booth, and she was like, "Have you guys practiced that often?" But it's just like this, it's kind of a similar conversation with every customer, but it's very pure and like
yeah,
it's not like this is our info, here you go. But it's like, how are you prepared?
More like a conversation that ends up, having that product that comes with it.
Yeah. And like getting to know our customers too has been fun. Just like
yeah.
we've had a
'cause
lot of like
repeating customers.
repeating customers, and we're like, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you." We're like hugging them. It's just like we're very like loving people, I feel like. So we're like, when we meet someone and they connect with us on a different level, we're like, "You're family now, like you're a good one." And that's kind of like we're like, "That's a
Yeah,
good
and
one."
that's like the kind of group that we have too, that like comes to our pop-ups. It's like
Mhm.
not like the highest like followings or whatever. It's just like nothing but good vibes. So it's like I just know if we invite this person, they're gonna be good vibe to our customers.
Mm.
And
And
with
that's
us, it's
yeah,
just
and with
fun.
us
And
too.
like
It's like,
if they're say it's like a rough day, like we just hang out and have a good time together and like shop each other's booths, or I don't know. It's just like this really fun, comfortable, like, and it just feels true, like to who we are.
yeah, no one's canceled yet. So
Yeah, we're so going strong.
I think that's so valuable to actually have, well, one to be kind of an outspoken person and like not be afraid of have that dialogue with your customers. I think, that's such a valuable asset as like, a brand and a seller. It's funny because the first thing that I would think, like in the vintage community, I would think that people would like be super anal about people kind of like adding shit to like a vintage piece, right? Because they're like always, "Oh, that's like a piece, man, it's old and stuff." But that's interesting that people kind of reacted to like a different way. Did you guys think that at all, or?
I will say there was a little concern when we first started doing it, but to be honest, like, so a lot of our upcycled pieces, we try, like, we have our, like, all of this is our untouched vintage. Like, we have a lot of pieces that are like,
So
true.
what's worth something and what's not.
yeah, anything
And it doesn't
roughly
have-
around like $100 value as itself,
Mm.
we
It-
kind of
it goes in
not
this.
yeah, we kind of not touch
And
it.
how do you know that it's worth $100?
Based
Just a
on
lot of
like
research.
research, tags, stitching,
Interesting.
Yeah,
licensing,
the licensing, genre.
if it's like certain bands or movies, like you just know based on like how it looks, feels. And we've had to learn, like I still learning. Devin's like, "Kate, that one's old." And I was like, "Oh," like I had no idea. Like I sometimes I'm like, "Oh, this is sweet." He's like, "Yeah, that's a nice piece." I'm like, "Oh, cool." But like, for example, like someone came up to our booth and we had, the brand Life is Good. Like it's a very simple drawing picture and it has life
Oh,
is
it's like
good.
with the little like guy with the stick man face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
And
stick figures.
This woman,
Yeah.
she was like, "This piece is really cool. I wouldn't have bought it if it was just a Life is Good, but because you added to it, it made me want it." And that's the kind of stuff we typically find to print on. We don't look for
Yeah, so like
vintage. It's
some of the
more like
stuff-
pastel colors, cool animal tees that like aren't super old,
this
but like
this is an awesome one. So like this is vintage, but like I think people have seen it a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
So like as is, this would be like $20
Okay.
to 30.
Uh-huh.
But then it's like this goes perfectly because like I am not a rug, and I was
Oh,
like, oh,
You added that?
so
that
we
was already
found
there.
this, and then we added the just remember what happens on Earth stays on Earth.
See, no, but that's clean. That's fucking clean, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, here's a couple. So this was like a Looney Tunes. This was like a vintage piece. Like this would go at $60 by itself.
Uh-huh.
We had it on our rack for a little bit. I would say like maybe 2 months. And I was like, all right, we did pop-ups. I was like, no one bought it for, a good price. So yeah, we did our,
Upcycling.
yeah.
And you guys add like, is it more expensive, more than $60 now? How much would you sell that shirt for?
Yeah, this one's 80 now. So we just added like the $20 value on top of like, I would say this would be like a comfortable 40 to 60, 60 being the right buyer.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, this one actually hasn't hit the streets yet.
Yeah, these
Okay.
ones on this track haven't really been out. So
Out of curiosity, do you guys have like a crazy grail type of fucking vintage piece that you could show me just to kind of tell me?
Yeah.
That?
Oh, yeah,
100%. You, like literally we have so like this is like our stuff we're willing to sell. In our closet there's like this rack.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you guys got the good stuff hidden.
It's like and it's like stuff that like we value high too. So it's like we had Devin's like been obsessed with wrestling since he was a little kid. Him and his mom and his siblings would all sit and watch The Rock and
Yeah, I'll show
Stone Cold.
Rocky.
Like he like literally like this half of the rack back here is wrestling plus the ones he has over there. He loves like NASCAR finds. I love finding like cartoons, like old Nickelodeon, Disney.
So here are a
Cartoon
couple
Network.
pieces.
And if you can explain to me why you would give it that value too, like from a connoisseur, because I went to like a round two thing, vintage thing here in LA, and I thought shit was crazy overpriced, and that's because I'm unknowledgeable about it. You know?
Round two, I would say like just because one, they're well known and like they do find true vintage, like it's a little bit pricier. But sometimes like their customers will also pay up because they're not going to go search
Yeah,
for
because
it.
like they actually lowered the price. I found out because like their average price was like
It was crazy.
for a regular t-shirt was like starting at 125 and like moving up. And the community that we found, like they're rotating the same shirt around like $50.
Mhm.
So it's like it's really like a street value of $50, but like if you got it from round two, then it's like the 120.
And I would say like certain ones, like there's certain Stone Colds that we have in here that are $300 just because everyone loves Stone
Oh, yeah.
Cold and it's a wanted piece. And it's like
Interesting.
the wrestler from Stone Cold.
Oh fuck yeah!
And
Yeah,
then
so this would be that like $300
it has
piece.
like a side hit here.
Interesting. The Undertaker in the back too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Undertaker, Kane, Ken Shamrock.
So this is like a higher piece.
We got The Rock down here.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like
this is just a fucking, and you find these randomly like in thrift stores and stuff.
I would say thrift stores, and to be honest, we've been shopping a lot with our friends.
and they find stuff at different places, different like, and there's like hole in the walls. There's a lot of estate sale garage. I don't know, just kind of like I just
We're
went to an
picking- we're
estate sale the
picking
other day and
everywhere.
found a bunch of cool old Betty Boop stuff that like I love and like just fun to have at our booth even. So it's like a little blow up Betty or a calendar. Because
Absolutely.
one of our goals is to start doing artwork with other art pieces and like collaging it on an old art piece.
Uh-huh.
So like you know how everyone's grandma had like the old grass
Definitely
with the
inspired by,
mountains
like,
and
yeah.
lakes in there on their walls at their house.
Sure.
So like we find those at thrift stores and then like our goal is to like make it kind of like a comic book scene with like an old Betty picture or an old smoking like camel or I don't know, just different things
Yeah.
that we can like incorporate but make it look cool. But we'll get there.
I definitely that little inspiration from like from Banksy. You know how
Oh
he,
yeah,
Yeah. Used
There's-
the rock shirt that I'm showing.
That's-
and this one was actually I was a big fan, so this one was passed down from my mom when we went
On
to
my
like
candy
this,
ass.
yeah, the Staples Center.
This is a grail right there. For like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I mean how much
I mean, to be honest, that one would sell for like comfortably, I would say 120 to 150.
Mhm.
But since it's like passed down and
From
it
your
has
mom.
more meaning, I mean, that would be like take to the grave kind of shirt.
Like on your deathbed. It's gonna be
Yeah, just like
Literally.
make sure that one.
Just so you say that he has multiple that he's like, oh, this is my deathbed shirt. And like
I got,
the
like,
next day, he's like,
I-
this is my deathbed
I
shirt.
have
I'm
like 4, I would say.
He's gonna be layered in like 4 different shirts and it's gonna all stiff like on his deathbed.
Before I pass, I'm gonna cut and sew
all of it.
But like for an example, like this is a vintage tag. It's a changes. It's like a well-known.
Okay.
It's really faded. But this is like on an old Ren and Stimpy, if you can see it
Interesting.
from Nickelodeon. It's just like an old school cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah, I think I recognize it too.
And then down here, like there's this like little section and it's licensing and it's licensed 1992. So this is from 1992,
Okay.
which makes it more old and more people want it and it's worn. And then this is one other one. So this is
Tell
on
me,
a like a wild old.
how much would you price the one there with 1992?
This one, I would say if it was for sale, I would say comfortably like 160, 180.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just it's so different than
I love
'Cause-
this one. This
yeah,
one's
this one's pretty dope.
Yeah, this one's sweet. It's an all over print. And so like that's the other thing. You look for like all over prints or just front and back. Like there's just like things that make it add up.
Mhm.
But like I don't know. We just like our thing is we've just like found joy and like find like I have a shirt. I'm gonna show you one mine. You can get in the frame.
And it's so funny because like growing up, like the
It's
thrift
treasure
store,
hunt bit, right? It's
yeah,
like-
thrift stores, like that was like I got my first toy at a thrift
I gotta
store.
show my shirt.
Um,
I'm just kidding. This is
oh
yours.
yeah. I got it. Yeah, my grandma got me my first like Lion King toy at a thrift store. Through high school, like I had a group of friends that loved thrifting as well. So like we always hit the thrift store just for like our closet stuff.
That's
So
cool.
once like vintage like like popped off,
Mhm.
I was like, these are things that like I wear and people are like buying, but you know, like like whenever I got sick of like an old shirt, I just like gave it back to Goodwill. You know, I was like, all right, found it there, you know, return it. And so once I found out, I think, yeah, like 3 years ago, huh?
Mhm.
Once I found out it was like a big market, I was like, damn, I gotta go to the Goodwills and like get all my shirts back. Yeah, we just took off with our upcycling and vintage, I feel like this last
Yeah.
year.
And so Devin actually found this one. This was before we really got into our vintage. He found this at a garage sale and it's been forever mine. But it's just a beautiful Betty front.
Wow.
She's holding a cigar. But then before like we printed on it back in like when we first got it. But it's like we
Yeah,
had,
that Betty alone would probably be like 120.
but I won't sell it for under $400 because if someone wants it for 400, you can have it. But if you don't want it for 400, this is my deathbed shirt. Like I'm okay if like it's not gonna go for 400, and that's why I put it up that high. So
Yeah.
like it's also that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
There's
because
some
yeah,
crazy-
the vintage community, I would say in the last like I did my research the last like 5 to 7 years, it's been turning from like something that is popping off as a like a entrepreneur business into like now 5 or 7 years later, it's more of like the collectors being the resellers, and then you know that's how like the prices kind of go up because like if someone loved Betty Boop, we'll definitely be like one of those people I would say that like have the collector's price
Mhm.
where
if they want it for that much, they'll buy it basically.
I mean, it is essentially to some extent relatively unique, right? Because you won't
You
maybe
can't
find,
find many.
you know, especially the same nice one of one. I mean, so it's always kind of like hard to find the same exact ones. So
And that's like
Yeah.
what's fun about like now that we print on it, like we've truly created a one of a kind piece. So like that's where like we won't probably print on these shirts back here just because they're like a little bit more, but like shirts that we find that are like a pretty pink, like that we just find at the thrift store, we'll add, it's like a Minnesota like city, but because of the color and the screen print, it's a one of a kind, and people will just be like, I like it. And we're like, cool, this is like a one of a kind piece for your closet that no one else will ever have, because we don't find many multiples of the same shirt and then print the same print on it. Because we've in the past before the just remember what happens on earth. You saw in the first letter was have a nice day. And then we also had thank you for recycling, and then don't be a dumbass. So we had like those three, and now we have the just remember. So we've had
who come up with these?
we
We
kind
do,
of
but
collab on them.
my dad, so the don't be a dumbass was truly my dad. My dad had passed, it'll be 3 years ago, and so he would always like my cousin so we have a cabin, and my dad had a little trailer that he'd hang out in. And my cousin threw a football at my other cousin who was like going to the bathroom in the woods, and he completely missed my cousin. It's right there, and threw the football through the window of my dad's little like trailer, his getaway trailer, that he would just like go read his paper and get away from the whole family.
Uh-huh.
And my dad and he's like, Kate, we're going to the store. I was like, okay. And we went and got like those old garage stickers, and he got a D and an A and like stuck it on an old Minnesota Gopher hat. And he was like, all right, here's your dumbass hat. And he made my cousin wear it the whole weekend. And then it's like, it was his word. And when he
Yeah.
passed, I was like, we have to put on a shirt. And Devin was like, absolutely.
I mean, I've been called dumbass like he was like, I'll do something stupid, and he'd be like, dumbass.
like it was like a love language for him. Like he would like true, if he loved you, he could call you
a
that.
dumbass. Yeah.
Like he knew like you would understand that he didn't truly mean it, but like also you're a dumbass. Like
Yeah, so now instead of saying you're a dumbass on the back, we said don't be a dumbass, where it's like don't be a dumbass, or
buy sustainable.
like, don't be a dumbass. You know, it could be like either or.
I like
So
I even like what happens on Earth stays on Earth. It's very
Yeah,
cool.
that one was my favorite. I heard it on a song and like it just repeated in my head, and I was
Yeah.
just like, we got to put it on the shirt.
yeah, we have a new one coming out this spring as well. We haven't released it yet, but that's gonna be
For the interview.
we could
yeah.
drop it for the
It-
interview.
I did a little sneak peek.
Yeah, I'm charging it right now because I just finished like
the
the
design.
base layer. But yeah, the next one's gonna be make dreams into reality.
Okay, fuck yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of t-shirts that can like relate to that. So a lot of
Yeah, that's what we try and do a lot, like with our quotes. Like we'll try and like
let's see.
put it with the correct, like a lot of animal teas on the just remember what happens on it. Like don't kill the animals. Like our environment's important, or like like nature shirts, or just different things that relate. And like a lot of like musicians, we might like if we have cool music teas that like aren't super vintage, we'll throw like make your dreams into reality. Or
Oh, like this was a perfect one.
Oh,
Like
hang on, he's
this
coming. We have like
LeBron.
piles of things that are ready to get printed. Oh yeah,
so like this would be a good one for like dreams into reality.
I like
Vintage LeBron James.
yeah, he's got
and
his
then
first shoes on.
Blank on the back. So yeah, we're gonna try to go big and like make dreams into reality.
Yeah.
I love how you guys can associate kind of like the terms with the pieces themselves. And do you guys ever go back and use the same quotes that you've used in the past, or it's always kind of like the line stays?
Yeah, we actually
We always
just
add one every year.
we
but
out
then-
yeah, we like to like bring a new one in, but we like have this like love for our old ones that like we're so cool, and like obviously people liked them because we have none left besides our personals. So
Yeah.
it's like
I think those would be like the reoccurring ones would be like a smaller run, maybe like 100, 200 max,
mhm.
where like the new ones will like stick to the 300 to 500 pieces and like, all right, this is the new one.
The new
Everybody likes it,
drop,
yeah.
and yeah, it's just kind of fun to bring them back out. People ask for
People
'em.
ask, especially for that don't be a dumbass.
Everyone
Like, I
loved
need
it.
another one. I'm
like
just
I need it for my dad or my cousin or my little nephew, like just people. Like it's a real, and then we got to share that story and connect with these shoppers on another level, because like I'm very open with it, and like Devin obviously knew my dad for a long time and was like a son to him, and like so it's just like this really cool like blend of our lives into our company and with these customers, so it's been fun.
Honestly, I respect how you can make it kind of gives a real personal aspect to you guys as individuals. I'm waiting for one with a pineapple on there someday, so it's gonna have to come out.
actually, yeah.
One of our first designs, he had when we did our first clothing before we switched to
like the
upcycling,
streetwear brand.
it was a giant pineapple on the back.
With,
We
like,
gotta bring it back.
yeah. It had easy living on the top and then like a pineapple design. That one sold out too.
Yeah, we gotta do that one again.
Yeah.
You
But
bring us.
what about sorry if I interrupted you.
Don't
worry.
be.
In regards to like now the duck and Chuck the duck, and when did that come into like, okay, now I want to start painting on this shit and I want to start having characters too?
Yeah. So if I were to get really in depth, I'll kind of draw it out for you. But we love spread, like when we do our pop-ups, we love, people say it might be just like, oh, like marketing kind of like talking to you, but we really, I would say, yeah, for you too, I would comfortably say that we love to spread love.
Mhm.
And so actually I was like thinking, because I come from like graffiti background.
Mhm.
So I was trying to incorporate the word love in like a character. So every time I draw Chuck, it's literally shapes that would kind of represent letters spelling out LOVE.
Interesting. That's
Yeah,
really-
I'll draw it out for you. This is how I actually like.
When he first started. Bring the whole sheet over. Do it in the camera.
All right, you gotta hold it for me though.
Okay.
All right. So like the shapes that I like took was like this rectangle, this O, and then this V, and then a box to spell out love. I don't know if you can.
I can see it perfectly. I can see it.
All right, perfect.
In our
And so-
camera, you can't see it at all. So like,
So like as an artist, I was like, all right, this could be like kind of like and our logo was like always a flamingo.
Okay.
So I was like, how can I draw a flamingo or bird in this like form? And so like Chuck's like body was like this.
Uh-huh.
That's the L, and then we got the O, and then I turned the V upside. I did try it a couple times like that,
Huh?
but I just turned it upside down, and of course add the other O. So that's LOV, and then the body was the E, and then added a little tail, the wings, and then yeah, the legs.
I liked it a lot, man. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So that's how Chuck was born out
And,
of love.
Out
And
of
then
love.
because it didn't fully look like a flamingo, like it was a flamingo, but then the whole ugly duckling part came in that wanted to paint himself pink and tend to his minions and his flower garden, and that's where the flowers came from. And his nana was always like a flower lover, and
Yeah, so the flower I would say represents my grandma who we lost, and I mean, yeah, that's when everything kind of changed.
that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, everything kind of changed for after that, and I was just like, let's spread love. Like that's what she taught me, and that's what
Yeah.
I think that's what we're here to do.
And that's beautiful, by the way. I mean, like you said, it sounded like a marketing point. Like, honestly, it sounds very genuine and organic. So, like,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But so does the story of Chuck, is it like, does it have a timeline, and is it growing with you guys to some extent, or does it kind of just go back and forth in time?
It kind of, yeah, I mean, Chuck, I mean, he was only one ugly duckling, and then it kind of, you know, to be honest, like it kind of represents me. I always thought I was like the outcast, like growing up. You know, I was like a football player, but never like fit in with the football players because I was also an art person. And then in the art person, like they were like, "Oh, you're a jock." Like I would never fit into the art group. Skated for a little bit, graffitied for a little bit. So I was like never in any group, but I was always like
Bobbing around the
the
groups.
lone wolf, you know, like just going around. And I feel like Chuck the Duck was a lone duck,
Chuck the duck.
you know. So I was like, and you know, like after we started painting and like doing our, you know, like I guess not preaching, but like sharing everybody that you can be the best version of you if you want to. And that's when like his minions came in, because I was like always talking to people, and we always get like into deep conversations like with our close friends and family about life. And so I think the minions came out just because like we would have those conversations with a lot of people. So I was like, Chuck needs to like talk to people, you know. So that's where like the quote came in. That's
And
where
he
like
started
the
having conversations. Sometimes he talks to the plants, and the top
sometimes
plants.
sometimes the plants talk back too. It's like,
Yeah, those ones are my favorite, I think.
yeah, like one of our favorites is like a flower says like on the front would be like, "Don't worry," and then it's a Bob Marley thing, you know, like "Don't worry," and then Chuck on the back would be like, "Be happy," like, so don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, that was a good one.
A lot of his messages too are positive. And
yeah, there's like one of my favorites that I love, of course. Weird, it's swearing again, but there's this one he draws of, I was like, you should do the Chuck, but then because we were doing beach cleanups and stuff, and we did a couple with our personal company as Resource Society, and I was like, you should do a trash can with a can by the side, and then
made one of those.
Pick up your shit. It's out in the other room, I think. And so there's, oh, here it is. And so there's the trash can, obviously, in the little can, and then it says pick up your shit. So like just remind people, like, stop trashing the planet that we're on. Like, we only have one place to live. Like,
I respect it. I mean, fuck, we need more people like you guys, to be honest.
I appreciate
well,
that.
hopefully people just like the message and want to start doing this, because like we have a lot of friends who are like starting to do more upcycling with their vintage clothes, and we're like, if you need any help, like if you have questions, like please, like reach out. Like we have people that we've worked with. This is a great guy to work with. Like we want people to start doing upcycling, because to be honest,
especially if they have that like creative spark but don't know how to start it. Yeah, you kind of just give them like, you can start it, just do it. Just pick one little path and like go down it for a little bit. And
what we've learned, because like, you know, some people can be like, oh, don't do that, like I'm already doing it. Like our thing was like, no one's ever going to do the exact same thing as you. So if you do it, like if you decide you want to paint on clothes, like we have another really good friend of ours who she paints, but she does a lot of splatter, and she does a lot of like she like skeletons and just different things that like is nowhere similar to us, but it's a very similar technique, and it's just this really cool like chance, like we still haven't gone over and painted. Our goal is to paint together in her studio, but we always just go and play game night and end up playing just different board games and the Nintendo 64 at her store. So we'll like hop on there. But I don't know. We just are like, if people want to do this, like they can. And that's our kind of goal, is like, hopefully people do start creating more sustainable products and upcycling and just using what we have. So much waste in this world. I'm sorry, I'm preaching a little bit, but there's so much trash.
Also, I don't consider it as preaching at all. Like, I don't think it is.
There's-
I think you're fact spitting. Like, you're saying facts.
But like there's so many clothes in like I have facts right now other places, we won't go into those, but like of just like how much waste there is, how much clothes there's piled up. Like there's 20 in the fast fashion industry, there's 24 seasons in 4 seasons of a
Like
year.
like H&M has, you know, like 4 seasons: summer, spring, fall, winter.
They want to keep up with the high fashion brands, so they're creating product
20
as fast as they can
24
to keep up,
seasons
but then
is the
it's all
average.
not great material, so it's gone by the next season and it's in the landfill. So it's like, use better
we have,
products and
yeah, I
use
think-
like there's so much clothing, like
There's also like a
I don't
kind
know,
of like
I'm just like
statistic that says like there's enough clothes on this earth already to sustain us for, you know, hundreds of years.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah,
I'm
we
trying to find
definitely
it, yeah.
we definitely want to take away from that,
Have
those
you guys
big.
ever been to would you say it was a landfill or landfill?
I've never been to an actual, well, I mean, like I've seen like card landfill styles, but I've never been to one with clothing really. I've seen photos and like
There's
the
big
thing
like
is, to be honest, a lot of them aren't here. They're sent to different countries and it just piles up in these third world countries and
Mhm.
they have to deal with it and they have to live around it because they have no way to get rid of it. And
Okay.
it just gets piled on their shores or in the ocean
I
or
mean, granted, like they are getting like the leftovers for like dirt cheap, but yeah, it's
But some of them
it's
are just piled
yeah,
up.
it's basically like clothes that the states don't want, that are shipping them overseas somewhere
Yeah.
else for someone else to take care of, you know.
No, absolutely. I think. Look, you guys. And what shirt would you want it to show me? I saw you were holding something.
Oh, well, like I was just gonna like,
I don't want to.
like this one is like a super like I don't even know what it is, but like I loved the color, or we both love the color. That's so I had to print. Like it
Yeah.
means nothing in the vintage world. It was just a shirt at a thrift store.
Yeah, this would have been. I think we picked it up for maybe like $5
maybe 2. I don't
from
know.
like another reseller, I believe.
Was it? I thought it was just at a
I think,
thrift.
I think this one's.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't even know what the brand is, but I was like, I just like the color. And there's so many of those at thrift stores that there's blanks that people could start with blank t-shirts. There's just opportunity in the world to just get old clothes and
Yeah.
rewear it. So that's that.
I completely agree, and I think that like I think we have to do something about it sooner rather than later, right? So yeah, the thing with I'm always kind of the type of guy, and I hate myself for being that guy, but I'm always like, oh, but you know, we can work so hard and so much, but then we just need one little fucker on the top of one of those companies, and he just destroys everything that we've been working together as a collective, right? But like,
I think we just saw that. What big companies started doing like cut and sews with different.
Oh, well, yeah, like in this community, one of my, cause at school, I'm a teacher and there was a student, she had a shirt that was like cut in half and like sewn together. And I was like, where'd you get that? Cause like I literally just made one a week ago. And she's like, oh, I got it from Shein. And I was like, oh, okay.
they're doing it. Yeah, but
Great.
they probably don't reuse their shit. Those guys probably add to the landmine. They're just doing that. They're trying to hop on trends, right? They're not doing it
Right.
organically or like in the
I
sustainable.
just saw a quilted jacket at Target. I'm like, that's not even an old quilt. It's just like
Did you
fabric.
really?
I did. I'm like,
no, those people suck. They're like the
I know. I'm like trying really hard to. I have like 2 quilted jackets that I'm like half done, and I'm like, Target just busted out, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, Target just
It's
busted
fine.
out 5,000.
Yeah, not
one
even.
store or something.
But,
Yeah.
but I think it's good that first of all, you know, you say preaching, you know, keep preaching as much as you can, because I think people need
Thank
to hear it. And you know, I think it takes a whole community, a whole like, you know, to be able to actually make a dent in this industry and be able to create a real sustainable future for clothing and for manufacturing firms. And like I think that, you know, people should kind of put more time into where they source their stuff, as you said, and even where they purchase their stuff. Because I mean, I'm the first one to say it, but then at the same time, like I'll buy, you know, I shit on Amazon, but I buy shit on Amazon, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And that's part of it. But I think also
I
like
think
you
all-
are doing a huge thing by giving us this platform to share our story with people that we've never met. And so like we're grateful for you for maybe you do buy on Amazon, but you're working to make this next step on creating a platform for
And also,
sustainable
like,
artists. And
also limiting yourself. So it's like if you don't, where people like consistently buy
Consume.
new and stuff like that. But if like we're conscious of what we're doing, then we're gonna like, oh,
Just
we
get
don't
more
really need that.
conscious.
Like we'll be a couple steps down on the.
yeah,
So I think I've like, I mean, since I've been I've always been into custom clothing. So like that's where kind of my passion started, and it was always, I would rather, purchase a garment, and I think I haven't bought anything branded, like any clothing that's branded, for like over 5-6 years now, because I rather just put money. First of all, I see it like as a huge asset, as a huge investment, because I'm investing in like young, talented people that make one-of-one pieces, and you won't get that again, and the uniqueness of it just really appeals to me. So I haven't bought anything branded in a long time, and that's what really caught me to onto custom clothing and upcycling. But now I just feel like people are slowly starting to get it, and are understanding that there's better value in the things that come from like smaller communities and from like individuals and
well, and there's just so much love behind it. I feel like there's so much like pride in what people do, and like if they can share that with someone who falls in love with it, like it's true, that little like meme that you see, it's like every small business owner, when they get a sale, they do a happy dance, and it's like I truly like get butterflies or get like giddy, and I'm like, oh my god, you love it. Like,
especially like the cut and sews. So I'll be the cut, and she'll like kill it. Like she'll tell me what to cut and how to cut it. And then every time like she'll sell a piece, like I'll kind of hold it up, because like if I'm doing the sale, I'll like hold it up to her, and she'll be like,
it's so
like,
bad.
she does actually do the happy dance.
I literally, well, cause I just started sewing in August, so like it's a very new adventure for me. We like had talked about how we wanted to incorporate it in the company, and I'm like, I want something that's me, of like art from me, like, because he's really the painter and I help, but it's not like me, I guess. And now I like really get to create something with my hands from scratch. He obviously helps me by cutting it up, but it's just like this really cool feeling. And so when someone buys it, I'm like, oh yeah, they loved it. And I get super pumped. And like, I don't know, it's just really fun to see people happy with something that they truly wanted, that we made or put our hands into, I guess. It's really cool. It makes me happy.
Beautiful, honestly. I think, and I hope it stays like that forever. I hope that sense never goes away, because it's such a.
I don't think it will. I still freak out every time.
Sorry, with this interview, I mean, I just say it because I tried to skim it down to like a 15-minute interview on Instagram, but then I repost the whole thing on YouTube for people that want to get more into conversations. But I had a question that was lingering, and it was in regards to you guys want to make that mobile pop-up shop, and I think that's a great idea, and I think that it allows you. I'm always like, I always look up to people, because I have a day job, so like I have to be physically in LA to be able to like go to work and do whatever during the week, and then I do this whenever I can. But like I look up to people like you guys, because you guys, as much as you guys are tied to a specific city, but you guys can actually travel, and I think that's something you guys should definitely take advantage of, and you guys should really just fucking go out there and really.
That's
the
goal.
Next goal.
Sure. I have the rest of the school year that I'm teaching for sure, and then we'll kind of take the next steps. I mean, he luckily gets to go out to LA a lot right now, since I'm tied down in Minnesota. I try and go out like for 2-day weekends. I'm like dying the next Monday, but it's we're grateful that we have two of us that we can go and spread what we're doing anywhere right now. But the dream is for us to both be able to go do it, and when we have the van, we can bring our pup with, and she can hang out with us.
That's mainly like the van concept. It was like
so we can bring Kona.
Oh, that's amazing.
She's got to come with. We got her back in college, so she's a ride or die.
Yeah.
When's the next event that you guys got set up?
Next week, not this weekend, but next weekend I'll be out again in LA.
Yeah, he'll be out there. And then we have one in Minneapolis.
We got 2 that weekend.
Yeah, you have 2 that weekend at in
Venice,
Abbot Kinney for the Artisan Fleet, and then the Santa Monica.
No, I'd love to pop up to your thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll send you the info.
Yeah.
It's and that one is actually a bunch of upcyclers.
Okay, beautiful.
It's a really cool event. And then he'll be at the Santa Monica Airport Antique Flea Market on Sunday. And then we have Minneapolis, and then our next big one is virtual in Chicago. So that will be crazy.
You guys really do. You guys put in the time and be there physically. I mean, you guys are the whole thing. So I respect it.
And if when
Appreciate that.
hopefully that we can make something happen this late spring or maybe I mean, sometime summer and fall, because hopefully fall, winter, all next year we'll be out in LA and we can get you at some of our pop-ups and we
Or
can
you
make
can
a
collab
like
on a
a
pop-up.
I would
That's-
love,
co-host.
love to.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
have
doing this.
spots.
I'm doing this event. So I'm setting up the date now. So I think it's going to be or on the 26th of March or the
Okay.
first of the next month. Because I think I just need the time for people to make the pieces. And if you guys want to be part of it, like absolutely, that would be like I'm always like the idea is this. Like I want to. This is my idea. Like Pièce Unique essentially is an auction house, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I made it as an auction house was because like I was a customer at first and I never had kind of that third party person that kind of takes care of like the transaction. So like with custom clothing, when I was buying shit, bro, it was like a give or take. It was like a miss or hit. Like you could send the money to the guy and then you would receive like messages maybe 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, the guy, still didn't finish it or still hasn't done it. And then so it was kind of like this thing where you're taking a leap of faith and you never had kind of a third party that'd be like, okay, this has to be done in this type of way. And sometimes the quality wasn't up to the level. So that was my sense as a customer. And then as a designer, when I started making clothes, I was like, okay, but how the fuck do I price my own shit? Like, I don't know how much I'm willing to sell this piece because I will always lowball myself because I'm always very insecure about like, oh, someone's going to buy it for this price. And then I think there's very different customers based upon the specific pieces that you sell. And so that was kind of like the merger of why I think auctions an interesting and appealing manner to sell these items because they're all one of one, right? So that price that is sold at that point is what kind of designates the future prices for those items. And and
for sure.
it works pretty well online and it's good, but like it doesn't have that good feel of like real auction. So like event I want to do, I want to make it a social event where like for the first probably hour is just people getting to meet each other. So a very social environment with like customers, artists, all sorts of different people in the event. But then during an hour, I'm just dedicating it to like having a live auction. So I'm gonna have like these models come up with pieces of clothing, and then you're gonna have one of those little paddles, like
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How vastly
So it's gonna be like that, and I think it's gonna be interesting because I don't think there's anything like it at this point, where people kind of are doing auctions for custom clothing and for art in general.
I don't think
At a low scale, like it's like we're not doing fucking Christie's or some of these big auction houses, but we're starting kind of local, and I think it's an interesting thing to do because it's like it's a fun thing. Like it's entertaining to be at an auction. Like you see how things sells. Like even if you're not buying shit, it's entertaining to see how much that shit will sell for because you're like, oh,
And that's, to be honest, that's what we kind of do with like our vintage clothes. Would you ever be interested on like doing an Instagram auction of like sustainable one of?
Absolutely. I mean, the idea is that eventually, the thing right now, like where I'm having the biggest trouble is kind of getting that the customer base. Like I have a huge artist base because like my platform is very appealing to artists because I mean I do this free of charge and I'm just kind of curating them for like a week and doing all this extra stuff and kind of promoting them. So like it's very appealing to artists. I'm like, oh fuck, I want to tap in. But like on the other side, customers, it's a little harder to kind of grasp them in because I do have such a big variety of artists that I put on. So it's like, never really know which one you're going to appeal to the most. But in the future, I absolutely would love to kind of, but like in your case, I think sorry if I interrupt you again. I think that what I would think would be perfect for your type of pieces would be like one of your Chuck pieces where like it's obviously hand drawn and hand painted and it does have that, that one of one feel that just,
we'd be about it. I mean, for sure. If you do March, that's fine, but we will be out there April 1st to the 10th for sure.
Okay, interesting. So April 1st, you guys would be there.
What'd you say?
April 1st, you guys would be there? Because that's my second day.
I would be flying in the Friday night, but he would be there probably a couple days before the 1st.
I mean, I'm just doing it based on, I want to make it on a Saturday, so it has to be kind of.
Oh, is that I'm like, I don't even know what day the 1st.
I checked, but I'm gonna check again. But like my idea is the 26th or the 1st or something like that, 1st or 2nd, whatever it is. That's
I'll
fly one.
But that'd be amazing because I mean I'm even promoting some artists that unfortunately cannot be there. So like my idea is I'm gonna have like this projector that's gonna show on the back of the screen, and then on this projector I'm gonna show like kind of have slideshows of like what other pieces this artist has made while I'm auctioning off the piece and kind of give a little background info of the person who he is and what he's done. So you like even for artists that are not there physically, they're always able to sell. But if they are there physically, I think it's much cooler because I would love to introduce you guys and be like, oh, these are the people that make it.
That would be awesome.
Just
I mean,
walking in.
no,
like,
It's like, dude, I'm gonna put the raw.
fine.
rest
You
in
put it-
dude.
great, but I'll be sad. But if you do the first, I'll be there with them. But otherwise, I mean, you got to do what works best for you, obviously. But I'm like, I'll be there. That'll be so cool though. And I mean, I feel like it will just grow and grow, and people will hear it, and the like word of mouth, it'll just get bigger and bigger every time.
I'm excited.
I think there's a really good community in LA with like influencers. Like there's a few people, like if you need help,
yeah, we got a
one,
couple
like
of
even if I
different-
can't be there, if
About this because I do need help.
us with like helping find a
do
venue
it.
or helping find different influencers to help promote it.
or vendors.
And vendor. I know he has a lot of vendors though out there.
Oh yeah, true.
But
Yeah, vendors is like one thing. I do have the place. I do have the artist that I want to bring on, and this place can sustain like 50 to 100 people. Like,
Oh, sick.
so it's a good spot, and it has like a little podium and like the place is relatively perfect, and it's like an art gallery in general. So it's kind of
have you thought about like any like food or drink to have there?
no. I have zero sponsors for that type of stuff.
Okay.
so
So
we
I have a few
those
from when I
connections.
worked out there.
That
Like
would be amazing.
I have a really good connection with Box Water, which would be cool to have, especially with the sustainability of it. If the
June
guy's still there, we have one with June Shine. So we have a few that we can like. Obviously, we don't have to do the interview longer, but we can FaceTime.
Yeah.
We can share like I can help reach out. We can make like a email with like our info on it and just kind of reach out again. I mean, it's been a year or two, but
Thing too is like
Action.
I'm doing it to the one of one page. Like he's gonna be promoting the thing, and I'm doing PS Unique the event, but then I want to have like sponsors or collaborators. So like if you guys are willing to help me even on real stuff, or like getting sponsored, this and that, like we can for sure add the logo Restore society,
Let's
just
do
as,
it.
because it is a collective thing that we're all trying to do.
Yeah, then
appreciate that,
put me
for
out,
sure.
put us on the list, and I will start reaching out to different people, and we can start and like I want like your info, like what you're looking for, what type of people, what type of buyers, just so I'm not reaching out to
Yeah,
people
she did
that
this for a job. So like whatever you do, write it
I
down. and be
literally
like, "All
hosted
right."
events weekly for my store that I worked at out in LA, and it was it's a sustainable clothing brand for women. So there's a lot in the background of that, but we can help for sure, and we would love to be a collaborator and help find shit happen, make
Yeah.
shit happen.
I love that because I mean it's because it is you were saying that you don't gatekeep, like it's not the type of thing where like you don't mind if other people paint on clothes and this and that. I think that's the mentality that we have to have moving forward, is like it's not a rat race, rather than we have to kind of be helping each other
Yeah.
get forward.
The marathon.
100%. Yep.
Exactly. So look guys, I have like it's been over an hour that we've been talking. Amazing conversation. But I would like to end this on, first of all, I want to thank you guys so much, and I would like to have you guys kind of give a little last say to whoever you guys might be watching this, whatever it is.
Oh, you got it. Oh, you want me to do it? But first, I
what
want to say
was-
thank you to you for hosting this platform. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just been
appreciate
incredible
you.
to share our story, and who we are as
Yeah, and then
behind the scenes,
we've,
too.
We've been I've been watching One of One, and I've seen you on there for a few months now, and I'm just like, these guys are like building the ship right now. Like they're building, and now they're getting everybody that's like on board to get on board.
And I love the way you guys are doing it organically too, with just like really connecting with vendors. I think like when we talked to when we were on like just different conversations, I feel like when Devin was on the live, I was at the gym and I was like, oh my gosh, he's on live. And I was like, super excited, and I was just like, this is really cool. And you guys just seem like very good humans that like are really ready to support other artists. And like as two people like working out of their house studio, like really just pushing our story. I think we're grateful to have you guys to help support us, and hopefully all of our collaborations that are coming up. I think that'll be awesome. But you have a piece for the people?
Yep.
On you.
I think the last thing I would say is spread love, be the best version of yourself, and make that future, the future you be proud of every step that you take.
That's amazing.
That would be my
Cherry on the cake right there.
And
So no, honestly, thank you guys so much. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Really, really. I'll if you send me your email on Instagram, I'll go ahead and kind of send you a little like more professional looking email with like, you know, whatever I'm trying to do and what you can help with would be incredible. But other than that, for the auction itself, are you guys okay with it auctioning off on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will just send.
Yeah, we got this piece that we just finished.
Which one is it? Oh yeah, show them. We'll show you the piece that we're ready. I mean, not that you have to put it up there, but we'll show you at least.
So I know you said you like Chuck the Duck, so we got this car,
I fuck with that. Oh, that's sick on the car art piece too.
right? And then
But just wait for it.
yeah, we got Chuck the Duck.
Ooh,
Don't
that's
be
the
a
minions.
that.
The minions. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
so yeah, this one we'll definitely do this one for sure.
Yeah, I said why not? Let's do it.
it. And so all I really need, bro, is I'm gonna send you guys all this by DM. So it's like, you know, the name, the size, you know, good pictures of it that I can kind of edit on and do the rest. So I'll send you guys all that little package on DM, and I'll send you on a separate thing the email for the rest. And
Perfect. I'll do our email then too, so you have that. And then the number we text you on, that's my cell. You can always reach me on there, and then we can
310
send
number.
if you the 310 numbers on there. That's Deb. But feel free to ever just if you like if email's a pain in the ass, like feel free to text.
if it's easier for you, whatever's easier for you, to be honest.
I check my email daily, but that's just me because I'm a little bit crazy. But honestly, whatever, if you think of something on the spot for the event, be like, hey, I'm thinking of this. What are your thoughts? Or like, can you help me get this? Like, dope. I'll start searching, or he will.
Thank you so much. Really, really, really. That means a lot, honestly.
Appreciate
Trying to help you build that ship.
We're building it together. We're gonna be fucking rolling that shit.
Yep.
piece by piece,
Piece by
right?
piece.
Board by board.
Exactly. No, and I think it's important. And honestly, it's important to just have people that are like, no, because too many people are always, and especially here in LA, bro. I'm not from here originally. I'm Italian, so like
I was gonna say, where are you from?
I'm Italian originally, but I went to school in Boston, and then I came here for like 2 years ago for like a job, and that's kind of what.
So did you grow up in Italy?
I grew up in Italy. I grew up in Europe my whole life. I was
What
just
part
like,
of Italy?
Rome.
Yeah,
That's
where-
like one of our favorite
that's where
places
we
to
fly
go.
into all the time. Trastevere, my favorite
That's
spot.
serious. Fuck yeah.
There's like he went with school, and then I went with my mom, and he told me this restaurant. So my mom and I went after he went, and then we went together and went to the same restaurant.
They do the calzones. It's like in a corner, like
It's
after the
Trastevere.
little
I don't-
markets.
It was like our favorites. I have a
don't-
picture of it somewhere, but I don't know. Rome. If you ever go to Rome and you want to do a pop up out there, we're down.
That's where we have to bring it towards, because they're ignorant there. They're absolutely ignorant about anything that goes into vintage.
Oh,
All of that.
I'm not 100% because I don't know that, but I think I'm ready to bring it to like after
Yeah.
the traveling pop up
Let's
for like
build
a
the
little
boat
bit.
and then
And then
travel.
we take the
Then we
take
go
the-
across the sea. I like that.
That should be the slogan: build the boat to take it across the sea. No.
Yeah, we should honestly Europe and Germany, but that's where the one of one is a great plug, because he's in Germany, so he's in.
Yeah,
Berlin.
and we actually talked. We had an interview with him. We talked about doing something out in Germany, and we're like, let's bring it out there. And he's like, all right.
He's great. He's a great guy. Honestly. He's very organic too. Very
Yeah, such good people. So we appreciate you. We'll let you go.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys like in the next 20 minutes. I'll send you a message. So,
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Have a
Appreciate
good
you.
night.
take
Bye,
care.
Diego.
Bye bye. Have a good night. Bye bye.